Hi, I'm Hunter Young, and I'm here to interview Sylvia from my grade 10 class. My first question for you is, what was it like to be one of the few women to work at that time?
Well, when I did go to work, there was still a lot of women in the workforce. Women worked in restaurants and grocery stores, post office, financial institutions. So there was quite a number of women working, not nearly as many as now, but that's almost 60 years ago when I first started, left school and started working. So yeah, and school teachers were usually females. So yeah, it was good. It was fun to have other females to work with, but men had to be there to keep us straight.
What was it like being so far from home and away from your family when going to your school?
Well, when I was 6 years old, my mom was very sick, and we lived quite a distance from Boyer School. So from Christmas time to the end of April, I came to Strasbourg School, and I lived with my aunt and uncle. And that was merely because of the distance that we were from home and school. And so I stayed from Monday to Friday, and then my aunt took me to the station, and I got on the train, and I went back to Boyer for the weekend. So, but it was lonely, but because my mom was ill, that was what we had to do.
Yeah. What education did you have when you left high school?
Grade 11.
Grade 11. How hard was it dealing with the cold of winter?
It wasn't really hard to deal with. We had very good clothes and warm boots, and if we went for a sleigh ride or anything like that, which was a way of transportation in the winter, you always had what they used to call a buffalo robe or something like that to cuddle into. And sometimes if it was going to be a long trip, they heated rocks in the oven, I guess, and you kept your feet on them. So it wasn't real difficult.
What was your wage like when you first started your job?
80 cents an hour.
How did you deal with the change of technology?
Well, technology is an old word in a way. Like, I remember the kind of phone we had, which was very obsolete to now. It was very large, like a box on the wall. Our old cat laid on top of it, and that's where she slept. And then from there we went to a radio, and then television in the mid-50s. So that was, but all of this was technology. Things were getting better and better, and then it just rolled right on, and computer age stepped in, and so yeah, it's been very different. And well, when I think of the kind of phone we had, and now there's cell phones and all that sort of thing, that very, very different, but good.
How did you guys keep your food fresh for that long?
Well, particularly in the winter, it was no problem to keep meat and whatnot outside, but in the summer, milk and cream and meat had to be kept in a deep well, and not that it was in the water or anything, but it was cold there. So the product would be put into a pail of some sort and let down with a rope, and it hung down in that well until you needed it, and then they pulled it up. But it too, we survived. We didn't know any different. Ate a lot of eggs, so I will say.
Were you part of getting the eggs?
Yes, I was the oldest, and so yes, that was some of the jobs that I had to do, was gather the eggs, and if the cows were a long ways from the yard, you had to walk out and get them for milking time. And yeah, it was, but it was good. It was fun.
Who's your biggest influence growing up?
I think probably when I hear the stories of my grandmother, going way back when they had prairie fires and stuff like that, and those ladies wore long dresses, and they were trying to beat out fires with the skirts of their dresses and stuff like that. I think she and my mom was very instrumental in teaching me how to make bread and do all the kinds of things that now I teach my girls to do. So, yeah.
What was a typical day like for you as a child or teenager?
As a child, well, there was 7 years between my sister and I, so I really had no one to play with. I had to make my own fun with with playing with dolls and doll carriages and stuff. And then going to school, it was great. You had somebody to play with at recess time, and then as my sister and brother got older, they were there to play with. But as a teenager, what was a typical year? Well, go to school, look forward to the weekend. Maybe you'd go to a movie or something like that. But it was pretty low key.
What was the biggest change of today's society than then?
I think in years gone by, people did a lot more visiting. Sunday, like Dawn said, was a day set aside for family, and now Sunday doesn't mean anything different than any other day of the week. The sports carry on, people go to work, people working shift work Sundays every day, and I think there's just not the togetherness, the visiting and helping one another like there used to be.
I think that's all I have. It was nice interviewing you.
Well, I enjoyed it. There I called you your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry,
much alike.
Hunter. Because I've known Hunter's grandma and Joanne and Jerry and Peter, it was so nice to know who I was going to be visiting with. So, thank you, Hunter. Thank you.